That's the finish of the first application of base colours. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to add more. And just as a practice piece, really, this back fin, no, it's not a fin, flipper, is what I'm going to start off with now. I'm going to start with that, then I'm going to use the grey. I'm going to creep up on this because it's a very dark and it does need to have the strong colours on, but you can't start off with the strong colours. So I'm following the idea that I had here where I was putting some of the lighter tones in. This is 189. So I've used the white around there to get a little bit of light in. 230 with the grey. And now we've got that. And this here is going to be really dark here. And just a little bit more here because again we've got just a touch of light coming through. You've got to think ahead on something like this. And talking about thinking ahead, what I'm also going to do is I'm going to put some light on these forward stones. Now, we don't have to finish them. All I've got to do is put some light on them so that when I put the dark on in a minute, the dark will... In fact, it might be an idea to do these too. Now, these can't be light because we've got light against it. You see what I mean? So it's a nice idea sometimes to just do a little bit ahead. And if you feel that it's the right thing to do, do it. That's a bit of light. Now, we can't leave it light. So what do? Well, we darken this side of it. And do it straight away because you might lose the line. I've actually rubbed out the line there. It's going to be grey. And I've left that one down there because it's going to be dark. So that means that here we have to put a line in. Now, it looks silly, I know, but it won't do. Now, what happens here, we've got to make the stones a little stronger, a little darker there. And it's a bit early to do all this, but you can see why I've got to do it. And then we use and I think it's also a nice idea maybe to put some colour in there as well. And a little bit of... yes. 169, folks. Sorry, when I break off, I've got to concentrate on what I'm doing now. We can now push this into the stone. Got me? It doesn't have to stay like that. We can come back a bit later. But what is important is we now have the flipper, or that flipper, against the stone at the back. And then we can put some more white in. As I say, it's still early to do it, but it's sometimes a nice idea just to get the... You see, and that's going to look great when we've done them all. Right, so anyway, back to these. Do I need to do these? Not really, but I will, I think. Now there's another one here. Now this one is dark. It's in the shadow. Oh, Colin, what have you taken on? And you know, sometimes, folks, I do wonder. But I know that the more difficult a thing appears, and the more attractive it looks. You see now there, that gives us now a little bit of help when it comes to the forward flipper. Fiddle, 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 but really important. I think I'll make it a little darker there. I don't want to make it any darker than that for the moment. In fact, it might be an idea just to leave that little bit of light there. And let it recede. think you get what I'm trying to do, folks. Well, I hope it'll all make sense at the end. I've lost my colour now. Here it is. Now, I'm not going to do any more of that because that flipper and the dark background merge together. And you're going to see how I'm going to do that. Actually, folks, this little bit here is going to play a very important part in that. I'll just put a little bit of light on it so you see. And we'll just put a little strength. This is 181 I'm using in here. Like that. See what I mean? That looks like a rock, doesn't it? You watch how this works out now. Next thing to do is to use the 233. Now all of this chest area is light. Okay, now, and we're going to go round these forward stones. I'm quite looking forward to doing these stones, folks. There's going to be a lot of them, but so it's good. Now, I'm going to build that up using the grey. Now I'm going to show you all of this because if I keep breaking off, it's disjointed. So what we have here is that we have dark from there, and that then graduates. Like that. So let's just make absolutely sure we've got a nice light edge on that. Good. And this is going to be very dark in here. Now we can't think of the direction of fur, so what we've got to think about is the solid flipper. And this round circular action that I do is actually perfect for the sea lion skin. And you see now that is going to fade. So you're not going to see, you're just going to see that stone from there poking out eventually. Got it? Great, now we've got to put some more colour in. I'm going to use the 169 here. Now I've already used it tentatively, but now it goes in just a little stronger. Now I think you're getting the idea now. I'm going to use 181 just to darken it off. Now you tell me, folks, if you don't think it's fun. Well, I say that reservedly. It's fun when you know what you're doing. But when you're battling, well, then that becomes more difficult. But now you see, now we can see how that is going to be merging now. 181 now can be filled in, and I bet you're thinking any minute now he's going to blend it. That's right, I am. But I'm going to do something else really interesting before I do that. See if you can guess what that's going to be. I'm just going to put this, not this, I'm just making sure that I've got enough of this colour in here. Right, well here it comes folks, this is the colour. I don't know whether I've actually got it out, have I? Yes I have, here it is. Now this is 157. I've used it quite a lot in the past and I'm going to use it quite a lot in this picture as well. When you come down to the fins, now we blend. Start from this area. Now that can be, I've got to be careful there because I've got the light, in fact it's got to be lighter than that. Just re-establish the light. Great, okay. Now I'm going to blend this with the same action that I use with the pencil. Little round circular movements. It pushes the colour into the paper, which is the main object, but it also creates a nice texture too. Now that's pretty good. There we are. Isn't that great? But it's not finished yet, and I really do need to finish this because all the colours I've used here are going to be used in various degrees in the other fins, clippers. This is going to be dark now. Now the black here is not going everywhere. It's going in here because it's the darkest area and it'll come all the way up here. But then I want to leave some of this colour, this base colour. And you'll see how that's going to work now. And there's also some detail in it, folks. I'm not quite sure what that detail is, but what you do is you put the marks in like that with the black, and then you kind of then work your way around, and what you're left with is those marks in there. Back to the colour shaper. Same action. But this time, because you can pick some of the colour up on your colour shaper, you can then use it. Like that. Now that's pretty accurate. Also, we can also use it just to darken that off ever so slightly. And just in here, where I left those marks, we can just use 230 very, very lightly, and it also continues a little bit of light up there as well. Now this is when you can use light over dark very successfully with the greys. Make them just a little less obvious. Now that's lovely. Now there's one colour that I left out. Remember over here when we did the face? It's this colour. It's 188. Now I haven't been able to use it up until now, but now I can. Just put a little bit of that colour in. Now that, folks, is just a little bit of pastel pencil magic. And you can say to me, what about those? Well, we can't really think about them yet, but what I will do, obviously, later on, is I shall make that just a little darker. And when I do the rocks, but I don't think I need to do them yet, as long as you can see how that's actually going to end up, like that, eventually. So, having done that now, I've got a lot of practice, so I now know what I'm going to be doing in the flipper here and here.